Okay, so this is going to be a beginner's guide to speedrunning Dark Souls. So I'm going to kind of assume that you've completed the game a couple of times and you're interested in speedrunning, so you know your way around the game a bit, but you want to work out how to speedrun. So um, the thing we're going to do a bit differently to a lot of other speedruns that you can go and look at on YouTube by really, really good speedrunners is that we're going to put a load of safety strats in, and that means that if we make any mistakes, it's not too bad. We don't end up going, too far back in the game or losing too many souls or anything. So we're going to do dual maces, and we're going to start with. So skip the animation. We're going to start by taking out Dragonrider, Last Giant, then Pursuer, and then we'll run around Lost Bastille a bit, and we'll probably finish this video there. So first thing, stamina management. You never want to let your stamina go all the way down, because it means that there's a lag once it refreshes before you can start to run again, and it's quite considerable. So we're going to run across here. The only thing around here worth getting is gold pine resin, and we don't need it for this run. We give ourselves a name, Bob, which is a brilliant name. We're going to use a cleric because then we get a bit of healing and we get a mace to start. You can also use the knight, he's a great choice for this, and we're going to use healing wares because we're not going to be doing the million souls route, so we don't need bonfire aesthetic. Okay, so there's a human effigy above this room in the chest that you're not going to need to get. First safety strategy, tag the things betwixt bonfire just in case you fall off somewhere. So I tend to do a lot of my weapon switching while I'm moving, so it allows me to keep pushing forward on the stick with my right hand. There we go. So a good opportunity while your stamina's regenerating is to take off your armor. You want to try and do as many things like that as possible, like consuming souls or changing armor sets. You want to do them when you couldn't be doing anything better in the game. So there's binoculars down to the right, and you can do a jump through the gap in the rocks here, but we don't need to do that because we're not doing a magic run. So Divine Blessing on the tree over there to the left, which we don't need, but you can get it if you want to. There's a little skip over this rock here to get to Morgulin. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to kill Morgulin to get the Soldora set, which gives us about an extra 27% souls.
Curses upon you, enough of this! You won't get me!
Yeah, we will. So there's a Titanite shard up the ladder, but we don't need to get that because we can buy Titanite shards from the Blacksmith, and we will end up with enough. This is another safety strat, so there's an STR shard here, which is really, really easy to get. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go tag the bonfire so that we can teleport back to it, and that puts us really close to the Emerald Herald. So we can get an Estus Flask from her really quickly. It's slightly quicker if you do it after Dragonrider, because then you can level, but it's just a few seconds, so it doesn't really matter. So we don't need to be standing in front of her either, so we can just talk to her and then run. That's 800 souls and a life gem, or maybe a couple of life gems. Then the next thing we're going to go do is do Dragonrider. So Dragonrider we're going to cheese, we're going to get him to fall off, which is a pretty well known strat. We'll use all the normal strats for the bosses, so Pursuer will parry, and Lost Giant will just run around between his legs until he gets dizzy and falls over. So there's a shield in the chest coming up on the left, but we don't need it. We're going to get the small leather shield. Okay, so go through here. So you could equip your armor here if you wanted to. You can also do it later. A lot of people drop their armors. I tend to do it later on the lift because you've got more time and it's less stressful. I find trying to navigate the menus and leave all your armor sets quite stressful. So next we are going to tag this bonfire because this is a safety. You don't have to tag this at all. And hopefully we can just run straight past this guy. Cool. So whether or not you can run past him depends on how far he gets down the steps. Sometimes it's faster just to sit and have him disappear. This guy will drop Sublime Bone Dust. but we don't have time to kill him. We are going to get the human effigy, so that's another safety strat you don't always need to do. Especially if you're doing all bosses, you get 5 effigies from doing Old Dragon Slayer, so that one's less important. But it's only a couple of seconds. So, there's a jump here, so you can jump out the window, and it saves you running around. You basically look, run, jump. We're going to avoid that. We're going to take the safety route round. So I might try and use this as an opportunity to put my armor on. You can put your armor on once you get into the boss room. But it always ends up a bit panicky for me, so I tend to do it after I've killed the boss. But I'd say if you're concerned about it, just do it before, and it saves the worry of menu switching. So I would lock on, come back, and then protect yourself. And then when he steps on his right foot, there we go. So he'll step with his left, right, left, and you can see them clearly. It's a 1, 2, 3 step. And once he takes that third step on his left foot, then you charge past him. If you do it any sooner, he won't be far enough forward. So we tag this bonfire, and we're gonna kill Licia. So to do that, you really want to use your fist. So I tend to de-equip the mace, and then that way you can get your fist out. We're not going to buy any miracles, so we can pretty much just start punching her. The advantage of attacking the bonfire first is because she's completely OP.
I've no choice now.
If she kills you, it's not such a big deal. Right, so we didn't want to get the backstab because that wastes time, and this always happens. So now, we want to try and hit her off the side of this pillar. You do not want to let her cast because she will destroy you. Cool, and then the reason we kill her is because she drops the key. Now, we don't need the key right away. You can leave it and then teleport back here later to get it, but just to make sure we don't forget it, we're going to grab it now, and then we go and teleport back to Medulla. So I think for dual maces you need 18 strength and 8 dex, but I'll probably check. So the other thing we're going to do is we're going to use a lot of our levels for vitality to make sure that we don't die. Whereas if you're a pure speedrunner, you would probably put a lot more into strength. So 12 and 5. So I think it rounds down. So I think 7 and 18 should be fine. So let's chat to the Emerald Herald. So we've also picked up an STR shard as well. So we're going to use that to get an extra STR flask. So I'm going to put dex up to 8 just because I can't remember. We'll go strength 18. And then we want to try and leave ourselves 4,000 souls over so we can talk to the hag. So 3.5 is fine. So that gives us what we need there. So we'll confirm that. We'll confirm that. Then we want to get the extra Estus. And we're done. Cool. So, right, we've got chime. There we go. Now, you can de-equip your armor here if you want to and run faster, but I would say if you're just starting, just leave it on all the time. Because navigating the menus is a pain. So what we can do now is go to our inventory and we pop the Dragonrider soul. So this is a really good time to do it. And then we're going to pop these as well. Cool. Right, so that gives us 10k. The reason we want to get 10k is so that we can chat to Licia, buy 10k worth of stuff off her. Now, there's one human effigy down there. The way I tend to do this is I just go off here. We don't really need the human effigy, and then that's 800 souls there and homeward bones, which are great. So I personally prefer that method. I don't think it's worth dropping down for the human effigy. If you want to save seconds, you can just go over the bridge and then come out that way instead, and you don't have to deal with the water. So just run through these guys, try to let your stamina regen, and then the only real problem is this guy who can arrow you, so you need to make sure you've got enough stamina to ride out that hit, and make sure you block on the path up to him, because if he hits you, you're fucked. So, you can get alluring skulls before this to make this a bit easier, but the way we're going to do it is we just get these two to attack, and then we run straight for the fog gate. Oh, and it never goes as planned. Now, what I haven't done is also equipped my Estus. So run through here. That should get swings out of all of them, and we should be able to go through. we'll do Estus in a minute. So we go around here, left and then right, so he'll miss us. Same with this guy, we go left and then right. Now it's a really nice strat here, so you can do this without getting hit, which Originam TV has. So he gets the guy on the right to swing. So we've got Estus. Now we do reasonable damage, so there's not much reason for us to not kill this guy. Cool, and then we go up. So that was a bit messy. Normally you can run straight for the ladder. I haven't got that strategy down yet where you duck right and get the guy to swing. Okay, so we're going to start by tagging the bonfire, just in case anything goes wrong. Safety strat. Then we'll heal. Sometimes a guy does follow you in, so we want to take care of that. Next we're going to chat to Licia. So, we're going to buy. We start by buying Leningrass Key. Then we're going to buy some fire bombs. So I reckon about 10 is probably what we want. We've got a mace, so we don't need to buy a club. And then I pretty much just spend the rest on human effigies because it makes up the cost and we can use them. So once we've done that, if we talk to her, she'll give us a Copse Silver Serpent Ring. Then we just keep talking to her until she repeats her dialogue, and then that will send her back to Majula. High time, blah blah blah. Brilliant. So I would suggest putting the ring on straight away, otherwise you'll forget, which always happens to me. Now we're going to run up here to get the shield and Estus Flask shard. You can also get the large leather shield, which is by the Crystal Gecko, but we're going to do the small leather shield instead because I prefer the parry timing for it. Okay, and that gives us the Estus Flask shard. We're going to kill this guy. Cool. Now, if you want to, you can get the Divine Blessing that's on this tree. It takes a little bit of time to make sure you fall on it correctly, but it's not a big deal. And then I'm going to rest here to get my Estus back. Actually, I probably should have rested after doing the shortcut. So, we'll do the shortcut. Yeah, so ignore that. Shortcut, stand on the second thing, angle your camera down, and then throw the firebomb. Cool. So, if you hadn't rested before, now would be a good time to rest. Instead, we will just use a life gem. Now, if you drop off by the ladder, you don't lose any health, or you can jump off through here and land here, and that will save you a split second. So you can jump past this guy. There's, I think, a Homeward Bone up here. Yeah, Homeward Bone and Life Gem, so you can potentially grab that as a safety strat, and then lure him up there. Now these guys will do like this little triple stabbing attack, and then we're going to try and roll through. The other way is you walk all the way down to the right hand side, pick up the Amber Herb, I normally do that for Faith runs, and then kite them all the way down there and then come back. Next safety strat, open the door, so in case we die to Last Giant we don't have to come all the way back. Then we get on the ladder. So I tend to use the ladder to drop items in my inventory. Cool. So that's that done. So then we need Last Giant. So Last Giant's moveset, he does stamps depending on which leg you're attacking. He will only do the triple stamp with the right leg, so it's safer to attack his left leg. Cool. And then we'll try and switch leg. Okay. Tears his arm off, which takes him a while. This is probably going to get a stamp. Ah, can see that one coming. Right, and that should be enough, I think. Cool. Right, so we're going to go straight into Pursuer. So we equip our leather shield while we're waiting. Okay, then run past this dude. take the lift back up. So you can go back and level now if you want, so we've got all of those souls, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight on to Pursuer. So these guys are all going to be around here, so you've got to dodge these. Leather Shield's down there, and there's the Crystal Gecko, but we don't actually need to get him, because we can obtain and buy all the shards that we need. But yeah, if you're worried about going straight on to Pursuer, then you could go and level at this point. So I tend to duck to the left of this guy. I find I get better results for not getting hit. You want to try and avoid dawdling here, because they will follow you up, and they are really quick. Now, first time you do Pursuer, he arrives quicker because you cut the animation short. So he's already there at this point. Run to the crate, get the parry. I run to the left of the thing because I find it quicker. Don't mess it up like I just did. And we're fucked. Right, so now we're going to do how to recover from messing up the Pursuer. You need to kite another attack off him. Now, I don't think he's going to do the attack that... There we go. Right, so we're going to try and draw him down the end. Right, and then we need to get him to charge us in front of the ballista. Like that. Then we're going to try and shoot him. Now, we can double shoot. We don't actually need to use a fire bomb, as long as we get him square. Cool, so you can just hammer the fire button. So we've got all our armour and the ring equipped, so that's all you need to worry about when you beat a boss. Now we're going to run through, so we've got the Ring of Blades. We're going to equip that as soon as we can. So do that while our stamina regens, and then we run over here, hit X, and we then go off to Lost Bastille. So, there's a bonfire right at the start here. You can roll backwards to hit it. Now, if you wanted to, you could go and level at this point, but you don't need to. But 40,000 souls is quite a lot early game. What we're going to do is we're going to run straight off and get all the items that we need. So, first thing, we get the large Titanite shard, which is down here. There's this Silver Serpent Ring standard down there as well, but we don't need that because we've got the +1 from Licia. You get that if you kill her as well, but I don't like killing her because then you can't buy life gems off her. Cool. So roll to break that open, and then we go through here. We're going to get another large Titanite shard that's up the ladder. And then the way I tend to do this is I go all the way to Macduff's bonfire and get everything in there, and then we go back. Now I do that for dual wielding runs because you need more shards. If you were doing a single weapon, you might not need it. So most of these you can get away with just running past, including the dogs. I tend to try to run a bit closer to the dogs so they leap like that, and that will slow them down. Here, run to the right of the guy and then clip the barrel on the left. That will get it to roll right down the middle. Equip your firebomb just in case it doesn't explode. We got lucky. And then you should be able to fast rest here. Cool. That resets the dogs and the guy. And then we get to come in here and level up. Oh, sorry, not level up. We get to grab the shards. Cool. So we've got some Titanite shards there, and then this should be large Titanite shards. The other two you don't really need, and we're not doing special weapons, so we don't need to swing to Titanite. We don't have the torch anyway. Right, so then we'll just go back to Medulla. Okay, so now we've got 40,000 souls, and we've got yeah, we've done the first few bosses, and we're pretty much ready to rock. We've also got Leningrass key, so we can get our second mace. So come over here, open the key with the door with the key that we bought from the Undead Merchant, then rest, and then when you stand back up, Leningrass will be back in his shop. So, next thing we're going to do, a weapon takes 6 Titanite shards to get up to scratch, so we're going to need 12 Titanite shards. So we go to buy item, and then we want to purchase another mace, then, go to Titanite shards here, so we've got 5, so we're going to need to buy 7. Then we want to reinforce... talk to him again. Reinforce weapon or armor, so we're going to go, yes, 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 then yes, yes, yes. Next, so large Titanite shard, yes, and we can get... Yeah, there we go, that's perfect. So we've got a +5 and a +4.
I'll be around if you
And then we've still got 27,000 souls left. So... right, so what we're going to want is the +5 in our right hand and +4 in our other hand. So when we double hand, we're using the higher one. Cool, and that's it. Yes, that's a basic way to start any kind of melee speedrun. And that will get you a decent amount of souls, decent amount of levels, and get you set off for whatever you want to do. I hope that's been useful. Let's do a wave. Thanks very much.